What happens when Mercury, the planet of thought, language, and perception, moves into Virgo, while simultaneously sitting right beside the Sun and squaring Uranus? Hey there, this is Jojo from 7 Plane Healings and AstroJo.com with your AstroSonics, where we go on a cosmic sound journey together. And today we're exploring Mercury entering Virgo, which happens on the 25th of August at 9:05 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And Mercury is the ruling planet of Virgo. So when Mercury moves into Virgo, it enters a sign that is closely connected with its own symbolism: observation, discernment, information, analysis, language, and the ability to distinguish one thing from the other. It's almost like Mercury is coming home to familiar territory. But Mercury isn't traveling alone. It's coming along with a few different aspects. Mercury is conjunct the Sun in a Cazimi. It's creating a very concentrated relationship between mind perception and conscious awareness. So at the same time, Mercury is also squaring Uranus, which introduces another rather different, disruptive, unexpected information, mental stimulation, and possibly the possibility of needing to change our perspective. And around those two central relationships, we have a beautiful collection of flowing aspects involving Pallas, Athena, Vesta, Chiron, Ceres, and Mars, alongside a more subtle group of inconjuncts involving the Moon, Pluto, Juno, and Neptune. So there's a real theme here of sorting, refining, and listening carefully. But before we dive in, just a quick note: if you would like to work with planetary frequencies, I've been creating tuning fork packages, and I have your own personal tune-ups, a 20-plus page astrological report, so along with a few extra bonuses, as well as the attune, coherence, frequency imprinted pendants that a few of you have been asking about. So you'll find them linked below if they resonate with you. So if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe for more weekly astrosonic journeys and help support my channel. And there's also a Spotify version if you prefer to listen that way. In this episode, we'll explore what Mercury entering Virgo is bringing into focus, particularly around attention, perception, and discernment. We'll look at how the different aspects work together, because there's both a concentrated clarity and some fascinating mental static in this chart. Then we'll move into a planetary tuning fork sound bath, which is giving you some space to experience the symbolism through sound. So settle in. This one is clear, attuned, and discerning. And we'll have the astro breakdown. We start with Mercury entering Virgo. It's particularly significant because Mercury rules Virgo, and symbolically this gives Mercury a familiar landscape to work within. It's a place where its natural qualities, observation, discernment, analysis, language, and information can become especially profound. And there can be an instinct to look a little bit more closely. So to notice the detail, to distinguish one thing from another, and to ask, does this actually work? Is this useful? Is it necessary? And what needs adjusting? So Mercury isn't simply entering Virgo. Mercury is entering its own territory. But then we have Mercury in the conjunct with the Sun, known as the Cazimi. Then we have Mercury squaring Uranus. So even with Mercury in a sign that supports its natural language, the sky isn't asking for perfect order. And it's asking for clear thinking without becoming rigid. We have Mercury conjunct the Sun. So this concentrates the relationship between Mercury and the Sun. So symbolically, it can bring thought and conscious awareness into very close relationship. So there can be a sense of gathering the mind around something important. But Mercury is also in a square with Uranus. And this changes the texture. Uranus doesn't particularly care whether we've finished organising our thoughts. It can introduce the unexpected, a new piece of information, a different perspective, or a sudden realization. Or simply the awareness that the way we've been thinking about something may no longer quite fit. And then we also have this really interesting supporting network of trines and sextiles. We've got Pallas, Athena, Vesta, Chiron, Ceres and Mars, which gives Mercury some resources to work with. And underneath all of that are 4 inconjuncts, so involving the Moon, Pluto, Juno, and Neptune. So perhaps the larger invitation is not simply think more clearly. It may be notice what is asking for your attention. Notice what is creating noise. And become a little more discerning about the difference. Mercury conjunct the Sun. This is the concentrated center of the pattern. Mercury represents perception through language, information, and the way we process what we're taking in. The Sun represents conscious awareness, vitality, and the sense of self that gives things meaning. And so when Mercury comes into such close relationship with the Sun, there can be a quality of gathering, as though the mind is being brought closer to the center of what actually matters. And then we have Mercury entering Virgo. It can bring, it can become quite discerning. So we may not know, gosh, Mercury's not working well for my words today. We may notice details we've previously overlooked. And they may become more aware of the way we're organising information, conversations, routines, or decisions. And for this sound journey, Mercury and the Sun together create a lovely place to begin. As bringing attention towards the relationship between the mind and awareness. So it's not forcing clarity, just allowing it to emerge. Mercury squaring Uranus. Uranus changes the rhythm. Mercury wants to understand. Uranus wants to disrupt the existing pattern. So the square can create an interesting tension between organization and spontaneity. So you might have one idea very clearly arranged in your mind, and then suddenly see it from a completely different angle. Or perhaps information arrives and it doesn't fit neatly into the structure that you already have. So rather than seeing that as something that needs to be immediately resolved, we can work with the quality of curiosity here. And Mercury trining Pallas, Athena. Pallas Athena brings a different kind of intelligence into the picture. It's pattern recognition. The ability to see relationships between pieces of information rather than simply collecting the pieces themselves. It feels particularly harmonious with Mercury in Virgo. There can be an ease in stepping back and seeing the architecture of something. Perhaps a conversation suddenly makes more sense. And perhaps several apparently unrelated observations become to connect. And Mercury trining Vesta. This brings us into a quieter kind of focus. Mercury is moving through Virgo, and Vesta invites us to consider what we are tending to. What do we return to? And what do we give our concentration to? And what deserves a little bit more care? It can be something beautiful. It can be something beautifully simple about this aspect. So it's rather than scattering the mind across 20 different things, we might find ourselves wanting to give one thing our full attention. And Mercury is also trining Chiron. Chiron introduces the possibility of a different kind of understanding. Sometimes something changes simply because we finally find the words for it. There can be a gentle quality of integration here, and the mind isn't simply collecting information, it's finding meaning in what it already knows. Then we have Mercury in a sextile with Ceres. Ceres brings the conversation back towards care. So how can we communicate with ourselves? How do we communicate with ourselves? How do we organize the practical details of everyday life in a way that actually supports us? Mercury in Virgo can notice the small things. Ceres reminds us that the small things matter. So sometimes the discernment is simply another word for noticing what supports you and noticing what doesn't support you. Mercury sextiling Mars. Then we have Mars. Mars gives Mercury a little movement. So thought can become action. Decision can become a conversation, and an idea can become something tangible. It's as though the mind and the impulse to act can work together when we allow them to. And Mercury in Virgo can help refine the action, and Mars can help the thinking from Mars can help prevent the thinking from becoming endless analysis. We have Mercury with an inconjunct to the moon. Here we have the mind and the emotional landscape asking slightly different questions. Mercury wants to understand The moon responds through feeling, instinct, memory, and rhythm. Sometimes those two languages don't always line up neatly, and you can understand something intellectually and still feel entirely different. So you can have an emotional response before you actually know why. And simply allowing both forms of information to exist at the same time with this aspect. And Mercury in an inconjunct with Pluto. Pluto can take us beneath the surface. So when Mercury meets Pluto through the subtle inconjunct, there may be something beneath the obvious thought that wants to be noticed. A piece of information that carries more emotional weight than we initially realized. So what has more significance than it first appeared? What keeps returning to our awareness? What might be asking us to be understood at a deeper level? And we have Mercury in conjunct Juno. So Juno brings themes of commitment, agreements, and relationship patterns. With Mercury, this can draw attention towards the things that we say yes to, and things perhaps that we continue saying yes to without consciously reconsidering them. So notice where your words, your emotional needs, and your commitments are slightly out of alignment. And Mercury is in inconjunct with Neptune. So Neptune softens the edges. So Mercury in Virgo likes distinctions. Neptune can blur them. So this creates another interesting adjustment around discernment. There can be imagination, intuition, symbolism, and subtle perception here, but there can also be the possibility of taking too much information without knowing quite what belongs where. So give intuition and discernment room to move. Give intuition and discernment room to work together, so we can remain open without becoming ungrounded. So let's align with these planetary frequencies. We have Mercury, the Sun, Uranus, Pallas, Athena, Vesta, Chiron, Ceres, Mars, the Moon, Pluto, Juno, and Neptune. So I invite you to join me on this cosmic sound journey. It's allowing your mind and your body to attune to these cosmic frequencies. Take a deep breath in. And release. Take another deep breath. And just letting go. Bringing your awareness to your heart as you bathe in the frequency of the spheres. And today's affirmation is, I settle into clear awareness, steadying my mind as I choose what truly deserves my attention. I settle into clear awareness, steadying my mind as I choose what truly deserves my attention. take a moment to integrate these planetary energies, just feeling balance and harmony within. And if you'd like your own personal astrological tune-up, just check out the packages available at my website, astrojo.com. You'll get a personal AstroSonics sound bath with your astro breakdown video like this. You'll get the sound bath only version and also the audio version, so you can put it on repeat whilst you meditate if you like, or whenever you want a quick tune-up. A quick guide plus a 90-day integration checklist. You'll get the AstroSonics resonance summary. You have a full professional astrological report, 20 plus pages. It's a deep dive into your blueprint, your natal chart, your solar return, or the transits at that time that you choose. It just depends on which package you choose. And then a custom astrological chart image. And if you are curious a bit more about my attune coherence pendants, I'll just show you some. It's bioresonance jewelry, which is designed to anchor your nervous system and shield your biofield from modern environmental stress. First, we have gold. So you can see the colors. It's gold with holographic vinyl on the inside, which is holding imprinted frequencies, as well as the copper coil also holds the imprinted frequencies. It's cut to the length of the sacred cubit, wound in the fashion of a bifilar coil, Nikola Tesla style. This is the rose gold. Can't see if it's getting focus or not. But find a better way. So that's the back. Lots of glimmers and shimmers. And we also have silver. And it does come with a personally charged theta healing energy. And thank you for... I also comes in a leather. This is an 18-inch leather cord. You can get a longer cord, 22-inch, or you can get the faux leather if you prefer. Thanks for joining me on this cosmic sound adventure. And if you haven't already, please like, share if you want to stay up to date with weekly AstroSonics. And there's also a Spotify version if you like to listen that way. And let's tune into the universe together.